What's the question?
I'll
We don't do the flags for their indication that is the meeting.
No, I think we
null
can-
and void?
No, they're not required. I mean, that would be like a no action item or something like that. What's required is a call to order, the roll call, and the order of the business
Hey,
to make it legal.
roll
I'm
call.
just curious.
But if it's on the agenda, we need to do it.
We
No,
can't,
no
I mean,
makeup
it would
on
be
our
like
spreadsheet.
taking no action on any other
Okay.
item.
Oh, my
Okay.
haircut, Harold. Your thing's done with no makeup and a scraped up cheek. It's not too
I
much fun.
volunteer for the invitation.
I'll be glad to do it, or Jim can.
How about flags
Jim
for
can.
them?
Heavenly Father, we come to you, and Heavenly Father, just thank you for giving us another day. Lead and direct us and guide us, in Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
pledge allegiance
To the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. America.
Yeah.
Trustee Anthony, yes, are here. Trustee Calhoun. Trustee Reed.
Yes, here.
Trustee Shattuck.
here.
Trustee Thorpe.
Yes,
Vice Chairman Walker. Chairman Shear.
Here.
yes.
Okay, we're here to discuss and consider approval to open up a tourism bank account to administer tourism tax funds rather than contract with the city of Durant for this service. Do we have discussions?
Can we get some background?
It has been very difficult for the city to produce the payments in the time frame that is necessary, especially on the grants, because our grants say that we will have the money in their hands 30 days before the event occurs. We also have had problems getting just monthly vendor payments that we've had out. The problem became very apparent in July of this year when we started receiving invoices from vendors that had not been paid. And when we look back in record, they had been produced. And the city has a process that I know that they have to go through, but we have to send it to them. They then have to issue a PO. They send it back to us. We send it out for 2 signatures. Then we have to process it for payment at that time, which is not something that you can just turn around in a day's time, depending on what their backlog is at the city. The first person that we contacted was our attorney, and he said that he was going to discuss it with the city attorney. And Jason, would you like to tell us what your conclusion was?
No, I did a little research myself and then had some discussions with Tom Markham, who's the attorney for the city of Durant. And we reached the same conclusion that there's no obstruction, there's no reason why. In fact, the tourism board probably should have its own bank account to administer those funds. So I think all the concerned parties are in agreement that the tourism board should administer the funds themselves.
Thank you. And then we contacted the city manager, Lisa Taylor. Lisa said she was in full agreement, and she in turn contacted Ann Shin. Would you like to report on that, Lisa?
So I too spoke with our city attorney, Tom Markham. I agree with what he said. That's what Tom said. So I spoke with Ann Chan, our city treasurer, and she said that actually that's a big load for tourism stuff, and that she didn't see a problem with separating it either.
So why is it that the DIA never has changed their bank account out of this city government?
Well, they have. You have a separate bank account.
That's a separate issue.
Yeah.
I'd rather not discuss that.
Yeah.
You don't have a separate account for the DIA out of the city government, either.
She can't discuss it.
Yeah.
I will say that's not the agenda item. We have a DIA meeting today. If you'd like to talk to any of the members before or after that meeting, I mean, you can stick around and do that.
I'm I know it's taking you a month or 2 to get there, but I like the covenant of the city government when it's the truth. I just assume we've been there. I don't see the DIA doing it. I don't know if any other entity has taken their money out and put it into a personal account besides us. in the whole city government or anywhere else.
Well, if our attorneys say it's okay, my deal is, working for my owners that I've worked for in a hotel, if that continues to happen, you're not gonna get vendors anymore. And that's just from experience, because as you know, my former owner, there's a, oh, if you work for so-and-so, we don't wanna come work on your pool. We don't wanna bring you coffee. We don't, no, because he didn't pay his bills. And if we're getting 3 months behind on invoices, people don't wanna wait that long for their money, especially this day and time with the expense of everything. And that's, you know, being in the hotel industry, that's huge to keep your vendors paid in a timely manner.
I think that's a big difference, because really the only time that she's saying we're getting behind is having to do the grants, right? That's the only time we're getting behind.
No, let me repeat that again. We received in July several vendors that had contacted us that had not been paid. When we checked the records to make sure that everything had been processed correctly and had been sent in, we had record of it, but those had not been paid. We are not getting, and I'm not sure that the city is under any obligation to do that, to send us an account of the checks that they mail out on Friday. Yes, we pay them $1,000 a month to do it, but I can tell you just from our end, you multiply that times the 12 or 13 departments that the city has, and I'm not sure how many, I'm sure it would be a relief for them to not have to deal with us. And we can also make sure that those checks are mailed in a time frame that the vendors request.
So 30, 45 days is good, but 60, 90 days are not. So are you saying that the city is that slow? If she turns her bills on time, it takes her 90 days to get the money out?
I don't know, apparently it has some time. My thoughts
Have you
are,
ever checked on it?
anybody that's ever done any business with the government does not expect to get their money tomorrow. I mean,
Well, we understand that, but if you turn it
that-
in on time, can't you get it in 45 to 60 days from the city of the government?
I mean, how many times, I mean,
Can I use an example?
Yeah, go ahead.
Our attorney turned in his invoice to us, and we checked records just a few minutes ago. I believe September the 2nd or September the 9th. We processed the payment, and he still has not received a check.
Being on what, 30 days?
For a month.
Actually, I've got a better example. Stokely Billboards sent us one of those. We just got a check processed for them this week, that they'll get a check this week from September of 21 for the tune of $9,120. That's how long they've set on that payment for being
September,
processed.
something fell through the cracks if
Yes, it did.
it's been 12 months.
Jim, if you would like, we have page 12, as a matter of fact, on one thread, email thread, over one PO request and payment. And then we have three more documentations in there that we had processed in the same manner. And there again, I know the city, they run checks once a week, which is on Friday. Those have to be processed into them by Thursday. My understanding is they only have one person hired that can officially run those checks. Is that correct, Lisa? Two people, okay. And, you know, I'm not putting blame anyplace. I'm just trying to get this to where we can get our vendors paid in a timely fashion.
And I can even understand on the city side, I know they have a lot
Yeah.
more
Yes,
important bills to
yes.
make sure they get paid.
Chairman?
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
So, just,
In the city's defense, or any municipality or government entity, there are processes that have to be, that are in place. And, you know, if something comes in and there's even one little detail missing, then it does cause more back and forth. But I am going to check into, that's a long time, September of last year even, for something.
No. September of this year was when the attorney.
The billboard
Stokely,
was
yes,
last
I'm
year?
sorry. Yes, it was.
So I'd like to talk to you after and get that. I know it's not on the agenda, but I want to find out what happened there, because
Okay,
it's
we've got
an
some-
opportunity for us to improve internally as well. So.
Okay, we've got some
Danny,
email threads.
are you hearing it from the city government that your vendors that you're paying all of these, you know, streets and all that stuff, did they complain to you that they're not getting their money? I mean, if it's this bad in the city and you're not getting it for 90 to 120 days, are you having trouble getting vendors to take care of the things y'all want?
I can't really speak to that. I'm not aware of any issues there. I just know from past experience, anytime you work for the government, you're gonna, you know it's gonna take a while to get your check.
And like she
I'm just
said,
amazed that they're not coming to y'all, if your city government's that slow. I talked to Charles, and, you know, it looks like we're going this way. What we think that, this is my personal opinion, and probably, well, it's his, he's the one that brought it up. But we think that every check, if we do this route and put it into another account, that before they get to write a check, that we think that every month we have meetings, that every check that we have needs to be authorized by this board, and that we should have the chairman and the secretary sign each check. It'll be a two-person check. See what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the checks have to come to this board every month, and I'll agree with that, and that it's gonna be a double, it's like, you know, churches or anything else. The president and the treasury has to sign every check before it goes out. It makes it, both of these make it to where it's excellent on our part, and nobody can say and come against us, even if they're watching or not, that we're not doing it right, because we're authorizing every check every 30 days to go out, and the secretary and the treasurer and the chairman will have to sign that check. That way.
Well, all money gets approved by this board anyway, right?
Thank you, that's
I
what,
mean, I don't see the
that's the
sense in
point.
double approving
Yeah.
everything. I agree with the signatures. I mean,
I do
probably
too.
two people should sign every
I
check, but
agree with that.
Basically,
It's urgent that you have that.
It
yeah,
requires
I-
two signatures on all of the
I will,
POs that we.
I will state that no bank checks two signatures. I'm just telling everybody right here, right now, that there isn't a bank in town that you require two signatures. The bank's not gonna kick anything out. It's up to you to find it later on.
Well,
Does that make sense?
We're not worried about the bank.
Okay, I know it.
This is not for the bank, this is for.
Correct,
Our
correct.
security, where if somebody comes up and says
Yeah.
somebody just wrote a check, no, they didn't. We
Yeah.
have two checks and they have to be authorized by two people. And we know it's not by the bank. You know.
Well, again,
Yeah, they're not gonna kick it out.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
In the financial statement, we will actually have a bank account with those canceled checks that are in there that you can physically look to make sure that they have been signed have two signatures on them.
and that's what Charlie wanted, was that.
That was exactly
that's-
what Charlie told me he wanted.
The other, another committee I'm on has, it has the physical checks in there as well. You can look at each one of those. So that does happen. You have the ability for that. You'll see every check that clears.
if it has to be approved by the board, then that kicks us back, it could be 60 days or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
It
You're-
won't,
you're-
because if
They
you do
get
it,
paid, which is the
Yep.
same thing with the city.
I don't see how it would be 60 days if you
Well,
do it, you could have 30 days.
Well, again, I'm going to repeat what Cole just said. Every check that is written has to be approved by this board and is approved by this board. Everything that we sign, we have to back up with minutes from a meeting showing that it
Yeah,
was.
well,
It'll come
we-
before the board every meeting and be.
But it's already been approved
It's
through the board.
it's already been approved.
It's already been approved.
You don't need to approve it
all
twice.
expenditures, don't we?
Yes.
Yes.
And then every meeting with our financials,
I'm
we will
saying
see
it's
every
approved
check
by
that
the board
cleared.
before it's written.
It is approved by the board before it's written. Every payment, every invoice is processed and voted on before. I'm going to move on just a little bit further. If we do decide to do this, what I would suggest is that we take the $1,000 that we are currently paying the city. I think a CPA, which we have talked to a few, and also we have to get an audit, an independent audit.
Correct.
We do have someone in our community that is certified to do that.
I would like an audit every year.
So if I make a
Yeah.
motion that every check has to be authorized by the board and that we have two signatures, we have the president and and the treasury to, sign each check. I'll make that motion.
Well, can we look at bullet point number 2?
I think that's probably item number 2.
Yeah.
Okay?
And when we get to it, I would recommend having probably 3 people that are authorized to sign.
Yes.
Required.
Yes.
Sure, it should be, but 2 of us gotta sign every check.
2 people got to sign, but
I have a question. The funds come from tax, sales tax. Funds go to the city, so the city will have to still write us a check to go into our account
Yes.
for us to get the fund. Okay.
For the total amount, yes.
Just briefly, Lisa, will we use the same process, just to request an invoice for that amount?
Well, that's administrative, we'll work that out.
Okay.
So we're going to number 2 yet?
We gotta approve number
We gotta
1 first,
approve
right?
We've got to approve number 1.
on item 1 first.
I make
We
a,
can come back, we can skip 1 and do 2 and come back to it, but 2 says that it'll be done pursuant to item 1, so.
Make a motion, we approve number 1.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made to approve and seconded. Would you call the vote?
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Calhoun, Trustee Reed,
Yes.
Trustee Shaddy,
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe,
Abstain.
Vice Chairman Walker,
Yes.
Chairman Shear.
Yes. All right, number 2. Discuss and consider approval of signatories for a new bank account to be opened pursuant to item 1.
No further discussion. I'll make a motion that the board has to approve every check that goes out, and it's gotta be signed by, at least 2 out of the 3, but, probably the president and the treasurer would be good to have those 2 signatures on every check. So that's what the motion I make.
So is that 1 approval or 2?
Do what?
Is that
On the check?
Yeah.
On the checks, you have to have it signed twice.
I know that, how many times does it have to be approved by the board? So I think you're wanting to, just to clarify, so any grant or anything we issue is voted on and approved. Is that the approval you're talking about for the check?
I like to see them come in every month and be approved that way.
Well, then it's gonna be 60
Hang on, Jim,
days.
hang on.
Do what?
So if we approve, grants are totally different than our other expenses that we
Yeah.
incur. So let's talk about,
Say it's paying overdraft.
okay,
payment.
if we approve a budget, then, and something falls underneath the budget, you want to see every item every month. You want to see a check come through here that you all get to pass around. That's just as inefficient as what we're dealing with.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be that many checks every month.
It isn't, Jim, it's not that many checks, but we're talking about the time that it takes to get this all done, because you may have somebody that wants to get paid the day after we have a meeting. Well, then you're going a full another month before you even approve it, and it may be part of our budget. And if we've already approved our budget, then I guess I don't understand why we're having to micromanage. And I want it done correctly, and I want audits done annually, don't get me wrong, but if, I think if we've already approved something, it's particularly like a grant. If somebody comes up here from Durant Softball and wants a grant, and we approve it, then that's approved. I don't know why we would want them to come back, we want that check to come in here that next month and say, all right, here's the check, you look at it, and then you sign it and you sign it. That doesn't make any sense to me, because you're gonna see it afterwards anyways when it clears the account.
It will be included in the financial.
And you're having them all there, and you can look at every check, and you can say, and then you get to do this. You get to go in there and say, what did we write this check for? And somebody's going to answer you on that.
I think that's the point of having 2 people sign it, right? So 2 people are agreeing.
2 people are agreeing it's appropriate to pay.
Correct, yeah.
And use those funds, yes. And that,
Well, and adding another thing to that, I think it's necessary that we do attach the minutes that show that we have approved that check, which we already do.
if we need to if we need to somehow email out, we're gonna pay this item, this is what it's for, Jim, and then you can say yes or no. That makes more sense to me than having to wait until the next meeting to say, all right, you can pay that, all right, you can pay that. Well,
Because we already know there's 30 days right there.
well, it could be one day, you don't, it could
There's
be,
only one meeting,
we don't know, but, I think there has to be a more efficient way to do it and make you happy and make me happy, because I want this done right, because I don't want any liability when it comes to this. I didn't ask for it. And so I guess I don't know. I'm trying to come up with an idea for you guys, but
Jim, if it would make you feel more comfortable, we can turn everything over to an accountant and let them do everything. Now, when you do that, understand we may not be able to move it any faster than we are right now. If you're worried about the chamber handling, we don't handle the funds. It is in a bank account. We make sure the bills are paid. We're not hired to oversee. That's not in our contract, to oversee the bank account. We do help with the financial statements on a monthly basis.
You will have a checkbook over there, right?
yeah, I don't know who else would.
Yeah, it would have to fall under the chamber.
I believe that has to fall at that point. No offense, Janet.
None taken.
But I think that's where it belongs. I don't have time to do it. You don't have time. We're all busy people. We hired them to do, it's probably not technically in their contract, but yeah, I would ask them to do that. Like they're already doing it. They already hold
And
it.
then you'll see whatever clears the bank each month.
And Danny's going to have to sign off on every check, right? And it's not like,
Currently, the way this works is they send me an email to approve whatever the PO is. All right? I sign it. It goes electronically right back to them with my signature on it. She approves it next to me, and then we send that to the city for payment. And there's two people approving the payment, the PO, and then the city writes the check. Well, why can't we do the same exact thing here? And two people here approve the check, and two people sign it, I guess. Does that make sense? I don't.
Makes a lot of
And then
sense.
you have recourse because you get to see what's paid every month. If you have a question or a problem, you can walk across the street and say, hey, can I see where people approve this? They'd be happy to show it to you, right?
That, or he can view it online.
Yeah, or we could send it to everybody and
Yeah.
everybody could see that it was approved. That's, I guess, the way I would rather do it. It takes literally, as long as I'm fast enough to sign it and send it back and not miss it.
Before I can
then-
dial a phone number to you, you've got to approve
So-
sometimes,
But sometimes I don't. So
What you're
it,
saying is every month we can have it on our.
you can have everything sent to
We
everybody.
can have every check and where it goes, right?
Yep. You can have every check sent to your email with my signature.
Itemized.
Yeah. And it's just the bill. It's just on the bill itself.
And that's the bill. That has nothing to do with the check.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
Jeff or I, either one,
We don't see the check.
we don't see the check.
We will in the future.
Part of the problem is we don't know when those checks are being sent out. This way, Jeff will know exactly what's being sent out. He can be accountable as
Well,
a
yeah, I
treasurer.
mean, there can be two other people on this
Yes,
committee that can
yes.
approve it. And then two people, and we have three people available to
Apparently what
sign.
he's saying too.
Just to do a time check, we have to be out here at 3 p.m. today, folks. We were told that ahead of time as well, so just wanted to do a time check there.
So apparently from what our lawyer says, that we need to, if we're going this way, we need to make sure that we got 3 people, not just the
Yes.
president.
That's what I want.
There's got to be one more person.
Yes.
that is named before we can do this.
Yeah, because, think about it. If one of you is gone, out of pocket, wherever, you can't get anything done. So we would want 3 people. Yeah, and then 2 people have to sign out of those 3, and then you have 2 other people that approve.
So we got a
That's
motion on the table, Danny.
We don't have a motion yet.
well, he made a motion.
yeah, he made a motion.
Oh, did you make the motion?
Nobody seconded it. It's what your motion.
Okay, I'm not sure what the motion was.
No, well,
I made a motion,
Can you restate your motion so they know?
so we need to make it again?
Just restate what it is, so they'll know.
We say it is having the checks, be authorized by the board every month and to have, 2 checks on every check, which include the president, the treasurer, and whoever else we want to name for the third one if one of y'all are not available.
I would name the 2 plus the 1.
I'd like to nominate vice chair to be the third approval or signature.
Wait a second, Jim, you said you want each check approved by the board though, right?
Yes,
We're saying just the
No.
3 people that we
it's
named
gotta
right
have a
now.
second, maybe.
The checks are already approved by the board
Right.
before they're ever written, so
Not expense checks.
See if you can
right?
get a second or not.
Or
Yeah, I was gonna say,
everything?
does anybody
Oh, then
second the
everything's
motion?
already approved, then everything's approved.
either under contract
Yeah.
or
No, I think I'm a little confused too.
Oh, you're
I'm
not
not sure.
confused.
I'm not sure what the motion is.
Okay,
He's saying every check has to come before the board before it's
Approved.
approved.
And they have
So,
to.
All right.
does
Do we have
anybody
a
second
second?
that?
Do we have a second?
And it died.
No.
Okay, that dies, okay.
For lack of a second.
Okay,
Dies for lack of second.
so,
so can we put another motion
yeah,
in?
you can do it a different way.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we keep the process we have now where you 2 do the POs, like you're having, both y'all sign off on them, and then we have 3 other people that are eligible to sign the checks, and 2 people have to sign the check before it's issued. It does not have to come back before the board before it's issued.
I think it should be somebody other than the person signing though. So if
Correct.
we make it Janet, both of you 2, or even Jim, yeah. Jim, you approve
Do what?
the expense. Well, I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, we gotta have, I don't need to approve it and then sign it.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
No, I
Yeah,
agree
so-
with you, Jeff.
yeah,
I agree
so-
with you.
We need to name 2 people to authorize, or 3 people, you can
May I
do
make a
that.
suggestion on the people to approve the invoicing be people that have access to their email and are comfortable with technology and
Yeah.
different points and
So
platforms?
we need to
because that's all
have, we need
done
to have
electronically.
you and Janet and we need to have Danny, all 3 of y'all, where y'all can sign it.
No, I think they were wanting Cole to do it with Danny and I, the chair, the co-chair, and the treasurer. And then out of the
Are you
others,
naming the third one or are you not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
Danny.
There is 3.
And Jim.
and
You don't want
then,
any part of it, okay?
and then 2 or 3 others can be the ones that say, we approve, this was approved, it's appropriate, just like we're doing right now.
Right.
And we're getting itemized on the checks on the agenda every month, right?
It'll be part of the.
It'll be part of your packet every month, that what we wrote.
Well, and to that point, we will actually have a bank statement
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
that will be
Yes.
in
The
there.
charter will be
Okay.
filled out.
Cole has made the motion, and do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Does everybody understand what we were doing there?
Yeah, so the 3 of us will
Sign,
and then Janet and,
and, yeah, one of y'all can do the approving.
yeah.
You want to approve?
I guess I'll approve, then that'll give everybody, you want to approve too, and
Well, I'd
then,
like you to approve it.
There you go. So
Okay.
2 that are approving, 3 that are
or on check side.
able to sign the checks.
Authorized signers.
Right. And it takes 2 of the 3 to sign the check. Okay.
Good.
Okay, you ready
Do we
for
want to do a
roll?
restatement for the YouTube, for the recording?
I think we need to do a restatement for the minutes,
Yeah.
so we can have exactly
Oh, you want
what
to
we're
put that
doing.
in?
All right. So I'll make a motion that, let's see, I'm trying to get.
May I?
So, yeah, I just want to make sure I get it right. So myself, Trustee Shattuck, and Chairman Shear are capable of signing every check. 2 of the 3 of us have to sign the check for it to go. And then Trustee Reed and Trustee Anthony will approve every PO before we write a check.
That's fine.
You comfortable with that?
Did I get that right, the names?
Okay,
That's my motion.
Okay.
that's a motion, and it has been seconded by Debbie. Do we have a vote?
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Reed,
Yes,
Trustee Shattuck,
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe,
I abstain from that one.
Trustee Walker. I
Yes.
mean, I'm sorry, Vice Chairman Walker.
Yes.
Chairman Shear.
Yes.
We need to
All right, any new business? Nope. Have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Reed?
Yes.
Trustee Shattuck?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Walker? Chairman Shear?
Yes.
Well, we.